Hello students. In the previous video we have completed the chapter respiration in organisms. I hope you have completed the notes of the chapter and also completed the exercise. Okay. Today the new chapter that we are going to start is transportation in animals and plants. So let's start, students, the new chapter. Why plants and animals need a transportation system? We know that all living organisms like plants and animals need food, oxygen, and water so that they can survive. These elements need to be delivered to their body parts so that they can function properly. Hence, all living organisms need a transport system in their bodies. Very important one, that all the living organisms like plants and animals, they need food, oxygen, and water, okay, so that they can survive. Now, how do these parts reach to all the body parts, or you can say all the parts of the body? With the help of the blood. Yes, you are right. So that blood circulates this food, oxygen, water to all the parts of the body so that they can function properly, and hence all living organisms need a transport system in their bodies. Okay, let's start with human circulatory system. You can see the diagram of human circulatory system. The blood vessels all around the body with a heart which pumps blood, and there are two types of blood vessels, the veins and the artery. Okay, you already all know that the arteries carry pure blood, or you can say oxygenated blood, and the veins carry deoxygenated, that is the impure blood. The circulatory system is a transport system of the human body which consists of a network that supplies food, water, oxygen, and other substances throughout the body. The main parts of the circulatory system are blood, blood vessels, and heart. Okay, very important one. The circulatory system, it is a transport system of the human body which consists of a network that supplies food, water, oxygen, and other substances throughout the body. What are the main parts of the circulatory system? The main parts of the circulatory system are blood, blood vessels, and heart. Let's start with the first component, that is blood. What is blood? Blood is a red color fluid that flows in our body through the blood vessels. Okay, see students, in animals, if we consider all the animals, there are two kinds of system. One is the open circulatory system and the other is the closed. Open means there are no blood vessels, the blood is directly flowing into the cavities, and another one is the closed. Closed circulatory system means the blood follows particular pathway, that is the of the blood vessels. Okay, so blood, it is a red color fluid that flows in our body through blood vessels. So you can see, you can easily say that the circulatory system of the human beings is closed circulatory system. Functions of blood. The blood acts as a medium of transportation of essential substances throughout our bodies, such as oxygen and nutrients. Blood carries oxygen from the lungs and transports it to different cells of the body. Now what happens? As we inhale the oxygen rich air, it reaches into the lungs. Okay, their lungs, the blood also comes to the lungs. Now because the blood that is coming to the lungs is a pure blood, or you can say the deoxygenated blood, the amount of oxygen is less in that, and the amount of oxygen is more in the lungs. So from there the oxygen moves from lungs to the blood, means from its high concentration to low concentration. Okay, so in this way that blood that was deoxygenated now becomes oxygenated, because more oxygen is being transported to the blood with the help of lungs. Okay, and then that blood carries oxygen from the lungs and transports it to different cells of the body. Clear? So it therefore acts as a medium of transportations of essential substances. Oxygen is one of the most essential substances. Okay, and also the nutrients. You all know nutrients, how the nutrients reach to all parts of the body. If you remember, in the small intestine, what happens in the small intestine? There absorption of food takes place, But where does that food absorb? It gets absorbed in the blood itself, and then the blood transfer, or you can say that transport that components into in different types of cells, or you can say to different types of cells. Okay. Second, the blood also carries waste material to the kidneys, which then filters the blood. The small intestine digests the food and absorbs its nutrients. These nutrients are provided to all the parts of the body through blood. So this is also another important function, that blood carries waste material to the kidneys, which filters the blood. Okay. So because you know the blood vessels are throughout the body, so blood is the very important medium of transporting essential substance as well as the harmful substance, or you can say not useful substance, from the cell to the outside of the body. Okay. So blood is one of the most important component for the transport. Third, the blood also protects the body from losing blood by forming a blood clot at the place of injury. Students, you might have seen when you cope with the injury or the injury happens to you, what happens? After some times, a brown color scum forms. What is that? It is known as a clot. It is the property of the blood. When it comes in contact like this in atmosphere, then there are some coagulants in the blood which gets activated, and as soon as it's get activated, the blood start to coagulate. Otherwise, what will happen? You see, if this property is not there in the blood, the coagulation property is not there, then what will happen? If a cut is there, then the blood will continuously keep on flowing, and a time will come there will be very less blood, and it may lead to death also. Okay, because you know most of the accident cases are there, so the death is just due to the reason that more loss of blood has occurred. So blood clot, it is an important process which helps in preventing the loss of blood from the body. Fourth, the blood contains a special substance that helps in regulating the temperature of the body. So these are some functions of the blood. Okay, students, go through them again, and then we'll be moving forward. Next is components of blood. Components means what are the different parts of the blood, or you can say what are the things that are present in the blood. So shall we start, student? Okay. Components of blood. Blood can perform several functions because of different substances present in it, and these are known as components of blood. Okay, let's discuss them one by one. The first one, blood plasma. The liquid substance present in the blood is called blood plasma. Almost 55% of the blood is blood plasma. The plasma facilitates the transportation of different substances throughout the body. The blood plasma is made up of water, salts, fats, proteins, and sugar. Okay, so it is one of the most important part of the blood plasma. It constitutes almost 55% of the blood. Okay, and what does it do, or you can say what does it help in? It helps in the transportation of different substances throughout the body. It is made up of water, salt, fats, proteins, and sugars. Clear? The first one, the first component of the blood plasma. Second one is the red blood cells. Another name of the red blood cells is the erythrocytes. These, or you can say, are present in ample amount in the blood, that is 40 to 45%. They are red in color because they contain a special pigment called hemoglobin. The oxygen we take in binds itself with the hemoglobin and reaches every cell of the body through the blood. Very important part. The red blood cells, see, erythrocytes, they constitute 40 to 45%, and they are red in color. Okay, why they are red in color? Because they contain hemoglobin. Now if you can conclude that because they are present in ample amount, that is 40 to 45% as compared to the white blood cells, that's why the color of the blood is red. Why? Because the red color comes from the red blood cells. And why they are red? They are red because of the special pigment called hemoglobin. Now see students, what does this hemoglobin do? As soon as the oxygen from the lungs reaches the blood, this oxygen binds with hemoglobin. Binds means forms a bond. Okay, attaches. You can simple say attaches with the hemoglobin, and it forms a compound that is known as oxyhemoglobin. What it is called? It is called oxyhemoglobin. Means it is a short form from oxygen, oxy, and hemoglobin. So this is a compound, oxyhemoglobin. Now this oxyhemoglobin, it is essential, or you can say it is the best part, or you can say it is the important part which transport the oxygen to all the part of the body. When the blood reaches to particular cell, there it breaks down, means this oxyhemoglobin again breaks down into oxygen and hemoglobin, and the oxygen is transported back to the cell. So it is also the most important part of the blood, that is the red blood cells. Next one comes the leukocytes, that are WBCs, white blood cells. They are present in fewer amounts, almost 1%, but they perform a vital function in the body, and these cells fight against the germs present in the body. Okay, so the WBCs are mainly responsible for the immunity of the body. Why? Because these cells fight against the germs present inside the body. They are present in less amount as compared to the red blood cells. Okay. Next one is the blood platelets. These are the cells that help in the formation of a blood clot and prevent the blood from flowing out of the body due to an injury. So all the components, you can see now the function of blood platelet is preventing the blood from flowing out of the body due to injury. So blood clot formation, very important function. All the components, whether it be blood plasma, red blood cells, white blood cells, or the blood platelets, all the components have their functions, and each and every component is very, very important as a human being is considered. Why? Because you can see the blood plasma, it helps in transportation of different substance. Red blood cells, a very important function, transportation of oxygen. If oxygen will not be transported, then the cell will not be able to perform respiration process, or will not be able to break the food that is being transported over there. White blood cells, they provide us immunity. If they will not be there, or you can say if something happened like they die, what happens? Then the body will not be able to fight against the germs present inside our body. So because you know that many of the germs that enter our body are killed by our own immune system. Every time we don't need a medicine. We need a medicine only in case of certain diseases that are very harmful, or you can say that cannot be cured our body. But some basic diseases like common cold, or you can say fever, sometimes also goes away without taking any medicines. Why? Because our body has an immune system that is capable of destroying the organism that have entered our body. Okay, and next one was blood platelets. It is also important. Why? Because it helps in the formation of blood clot. And what does the blood clot do? It prevents the blood from flowing out of the body due to an injury. Okay, this is the diagram: red blood cells, platelets, and the white blood cells. You can see the blood is flowing, red blood cells are there, and the plasma, means all the liquid part is the plasma. Then you can see this this is the blood vessels, plasma is there, and you can see the red ones are the red blood cells, and you can also see the white blood cell and the platelets inside the blood. Okay, but majority is the red blood cells, so that is why the color of the blood is red. Okay, so students, go through this components of blood again, because very important topic. Okay, see why I am giving you a time to read it over here, so that it ultimately reaches your brain. Okay, I need it that you should learn it finally. Okay, so go through it and then we will moving forward. Next is the blood vessels. Our body contains tube-like structures called the blood vessels that help in transportation of blood throughout the body. Our body contains two types of blood vessels based on the functions that they perform. These are the arteries and veins. Okay, so let's discuss the difference between them. That our body contains tube-like structures that are called blood vessels that help in transportation of blood throughout our body. Contains two types of blood vessels on the function. Arteries and veins. Arteries. These blood vessels carry blood from heart that contains oxygen into different parts of the body. That is, means they carry oxygenated blood, or you can say the pure blood. Veins. These blood vessels carry blood that is rich in carbon dioxide from the body organs to the heart. Means they carry impure blood, or you can say deoxygenated blood. So arteries, they carry blood from heart to different parts of body, and veins, they carry blood from body organs to back to the heart. Definitely from heart, if going to different parts of the body, it will be pure blood, oxygenated blood. And if it is coming from body organs, then it will be utilized blood, because all the oxygen would have been utilized by the cells of the organ in process of respiration and other metabolic activities. Okay, so that's why that blood is rich in carbon dioxide. So the first difference, I hope it is clear to you. The first one, these blood vessels carry blood from the heart that contains oxygen into different parts of the body, and veins, these blood vessels carry blood that is rich in carbon dioxide from the body organs to the heart. Second, arteries have thick walls as the blood pressure is quite high in these blood vessels, because directly the heart is pumping the blood into the arteries. Okay, so the arteries have thick walls as the blood pressure is quite high in these blood vessels. Second, in the veins, veins do not have thick walls as the blood pressure is quite low in them. Okay, because the heart that is pumping, it reaches from the heart to the organ, so that's why that pumping is needed, and because of that pumping of the heart, there is a lot of pressure in the arteries. So to prevent the arteries walls from that pressure, the walls needed to be very thick walled. Okay, whereas veins, they do not have that pressure, so they do not have thick walls. Arteries, they are narrow so that the blood can flow quickly through them. Narrow means the lumen is very narrow, thin. Okay, I'm not talking about the walls now. It is the interior part from where the blood flows. It is narrow. Now why it is narrow? Because the pressure is high, so that the blood can flow very quickly and reach the target organ within time. Okay, very quickly. So that's why they are narrow, so that the blood can flow very quickly through them. Veins, they are slightly wider than arteries. Very important. They are slightly wider than arteries. In the arteries, fourth point, they do not contain valves as the blood in arteries always flow in the right direction due to the pumping of the heart. Now, valves, see what does the valve do? Valve prevents the backflow of the blood. But in the case of artery, there will be no backflow. Why? There will be no backflow because there is constant pumping of the heart, and constant pumping leads to the blood moving forward. Okay, so the blood cannot come back into the arteries, so therefore there is no backflow of the blood, and therefore it does not contain any valve. But in veins, as they do not have any pressure, they contain valves. The veins contain valves that prevent blood from flowing in opposite direction. Very important. If the blood is coming from the organ, it is deoxygenated blood, and it is coming, okay, if there will be no valves in the veins, then what will happen? The blood can flow backwards also, because there is very less pressure. Clear? So this is again an important difference, that arteries do not contain valves, whereas veins contain valves. Why? So that the blood do not flow in opposite direction of the veins. Okay, I hope these differences are clear to you. Again, the first one, the arteries carry oxygenated blood into different parts of the body from heart, whereas veins carry deoxygenated blood from body organs to heart. Arteries have thick walls as the blood pressure is quite high in these blood vessels, and veins do not have thick walls as the blood pressure is quite low in them. Arteries are narrow, whereas veins are slightly wider. Arteries do not contain valves as the blood in arteries always flow in the right direction due to the pumping of the heart. And veins contain valves that prevent blood from flowing opposite direction. Clear? So students, in the next video we will be starting with pulse and we will be discussing the heart. Okay, till then students, you stay inside our house, keep studying, very important thing, and keep making the notes of the videos. Okay, whichever that has been posted on the YouTube, please keep making notes. It will be helpful for you. Okay, keep studying. Okay students, and take care of yourselves. Thank you and have a nice day.